Goody, everybody. Welcome in to Celtics be balling. Celtics be balling. Celtics be balling. Obviously, there wasn't. Gonna give you like a quick, couple days late, but very late and never. So them said. Give you a quick, what I thought about the game. What went down. In my opinion, of course. And be out. That game was. There wasn't even a game. We didn't show up. That's why I was so surprised we won Game 6, because that game would have been like a major letdown, because we was up 10 points. Because I watched it again, we was up 10 points with 2 minutes to go, and the game ended up we was down 1. So right there, very excited that we won the game. But this is show you my mindset and how I thought about Game 7 at work. Usually I DVR the games, come home later, watch it. I think 1 game or maybe 2 games I have never watched like all the games, like besides sitting down and watching it, because it's annoying watching the game, like especially it's the playoffs, so my emotions be like up and down. Although it's not like before, like a younger fan, but I still, because that's what the playoffs are. Ride it with my team, and it's exciting. I don't be like hating on when like another team is doing good. That makes me excited, because like okay, time for us to step up. They making a little run. Let's make our run, which never happened in Game 7. But this is how the game. Well, like I said, I didn't say, but I'm gonna say. So, I said all that just to say this. So I'm at work. Like, the game's coming on. I thought about it during the day too. I wasn't sure if I was gonna do it, but I know last season before, I had the game on, and then I'll also be listening to the radio. I'm kind of blanking on the name, but Sean Grady and Cedric Maxwell, I like listening to them, the pardon me. I even get 5 minutes, I'm losing my voice already. So I usually listen to them as I'm watching the game, but as I'm watching the game a lot of times, although I'm listening to them, I just like rewind the game, maybe say if it's like a good play, especially if it's a call, like they say they made like a call, whatever call, and I'm looking like, even if it's against us or for us, whatever, because like not all the calls don't go against for your team. I try to be a fair person, and I hate like when they give out calls. Hate is a strong word, but I dislike strongly when they like give us calls and it's like a phantom call, because now it's like the ref's gonna make it up, and most likely it's gonna be a bad situation on the other team part, your team part. Then they gonna blow the whistle against you, so and then half the time it's gonna be like that was no foul, ref. But if you're a real fan or whatever, you're really realistic, you're like, see, that's that makeup call, because that call they gave us earlier, whatever time they did, we didn't deserve that. So that's what they be doing, but the refs don't understand, or maybe they do. Maybe it's all how they supposed to do. But as we watch the game, I'm like, come on, man, because especially if it's like a tight game, like these refs gonna watch. They gonna make a messed up call because they gave us a call we wasn't supposed to get, and they probably talked to us, especially it was before half. They gonna go back. I'm assuming they gonna go back and like talk like, yo, we missed this call, so because the other team gonna complain like, yo, definitely foul that, like, come on, ref. So if I was a player on there, I'm like, y'all missed that. Y'all owe us a call, ref. Y'all owe us a call. I ain't gonna say when you supposed to do it, but y'all owe us a call. So that's what usually happens. And I don't know why I said all that there. Oh, cause that's what be happening to me. So it's kind of throwing me off. So as I'm listening to them on the radio, the game is live, so I'm not like repeating what they're saying, but as I'm watching on TV, I'm repeating. So it's like, so now the time lapses, because I do that like often. Sometimes I'll be watching the game like, or even if say it's a good play, nice dunk or a nice pass, nice little motivation. I'm not sure, but I don't think no one dove on the floor in Game 7 for us. But some hype play. I'm definitely gonna be like, ooh, let me see that again. And so for that kind of reason, I kind of like not dissing them because I don't want to listen to them, but for that I'm like, alright, I'm gonna focus on, especially as a new coach. Last year, I did at the beginning because I wanted to hear like the guys' opinion, Grady and Maxwell. I want to hear their opinions. And the new coach, whatever, Ime. So after I got a feel or whatever, so I start more tuning. I'm watching the games, like looking at how he's doing situations, just like I was observing Joe Mazzulla, like see like I got the big end, like how he was calling timeouts and people was getting on him, and then he like kind of took it personal. He was spazzing on some of the reporters. It's funny, and like, what are we gonna do, or what the Celtics gonna do, or what do y'all want the Celtics to do? As speaking as fans, me as a fan, I always, besides, like, and there's really there's some good coaches out there, but basically, I love Brad Stephen Hiring because I didn't know nothing about him. But when I found out that was his team that went to the Final Fours or whatever, or past the Final Fours, I'm not sure. Maybe it was one game in the championship, or maybe he played the championship. I can't remember. But basically, I respect his pedigree, and when he came in, he turned that team around, especially those was the Isaiah Thomas years. You know what I mean? It wasn't for us to make the playoffs, and we made the playoffs. So that's why we got Jalen and Jason, because they both were, one of them actually, I think Jalen was a third pick. Jason, well, we had the first pick. I believe we gave it to the Lakers. That's when the Lakers chose Ball, and we got Tatum, the third pick, whatever. I'm still like, wow. I was, well, if we kept the third pick, the first pick, I'm assuming we still would have got Tatum, but it was a smart move on Danny's part. Very risky move, because what if they chose Tatum? I've been watching Tatum, although I didn't know nothing about him, but just the fact that was our pick, and if we didn't pick him, and he could have, and we had it in our hands, and we, gave up that pick, and the Lakers bamboozled us, but I don't know how they didn't see that play. Or maybe they had more faith in Ball, but obviously they didn't, because he only played I don't think he played 3 seasons there. He might have, but he went to where, Minnesota or something, or it's either Minnesota, which I don't think it is. I think it's more Orleans. No, he's in Chicago and he was hurt, but when he got in Chicago, I thought that team was, before he got hurt, it was nice, because he was shooting better. Rosen and I think Zach on that team, Zach LaVine, I believe. I might be wrong, but they had a nice squad before Ball went down. And as you see, like the first year they got together, it was like a nice squad. Did he get hurt the first year? I think he might have got hurt, but it was, I think, the end of last year when he had to do the surgery. I don't know if they played the whole full year together, but when they was together, that was like a nice Joe team. They actually was like, damn, Chicago looked nice over there, just like Cleveland looked nice, and they're gonna get better because they're gonna have more time together. But I was saying with the coach, What we gonna do? I don't know. Should we bring Joe Mazzulla back? Would I bring him back? To put a question on me, who's out there that to replace him? There's some good coaches, but at this point, the guys been playing together. This is Tatum maybe 6th season. So they've been, once a team like the core been playing together for 5 years. I'm thinking it's more on those guys because the pieces they brought in, Malcolm Brogdon, she was balling out till he got hurt. Seen an update. I don't know. I didn't read it, so I don't know if they're saying he gonna have surgery. He does has like around there. I don't know what they call it, a torn ligament, something like that. You know. So I'm gonna read that article, and before I forget, there's another article because I have pulled up on my laptop. I was gonna talk about the stats, whatever. I might not, but I just wanted to like bring it up because I was gonna do this video before, but I didn't have enough battery in my phone, so I couldn't like do it. And then I was still like in mourning, but besides that, you know, like my videos be coming like a couple days after, not on purpose, but you know, things be going on around, so we trying to put in these videos. Hopefully, and what am I gonna talk about now? Our season's over. Let's see. There's a couple things because you know, like I said, I'm a basketball fan, so we'll see. See if there's a couple topics, and if everything plays out, I just gotta maybe make a couple phone calls, get this little maybe people call in, and then we could talk about them for the summer until things start rolling. Then we'll see how we're gonna talk about how they're gonna disappoint us. Well, that's how I look at it now. Like, I didn't answer the coaching question, so I guess, do I want Coach Mazzulla to come back? If we get another coach, will I be mad that they didn't give this man a second chance? I'm kind of torn because I don't like mofos getting fired just 1 year into their thing. Especially, it wasn't up to him because he's not playing. But at the same time, I think game 5, maybe 4. Yeah, from like game 1, once we was down 0-3, because usually I listen to the post interviews, coach, players, different players, just to get, well, I always did before, like, just to see, and then I usually watch the Celtics, post shows. I stopped watching it because I don't want, to like watch it and then something I might have, I don't want to use their ideas because I heard it, so it's subconsciously in the back of my head. I'm like, and I agree with them because that's what kind of happened before. Although Eddie was on the Undisputed. I think it was game 6 because I haven't watched nothing after game 6. Not because I'm like, but all I see is just a lot of hate. I'm like, hey, it's okay. They could, whoever, they could kill us. Other teams, I'll look at it. Y'all could talk like we blew it. Yes, we did. I'm not a disillusional fan. We definitely blew it big time. Like we didn't show up, but I kind of was like, I was big time nervous and excited. That's why, to go back to the radio, I started listening to them at work, which I've never done. I thought about it a couple times, but I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna watch it. Even though I wouldn't mind listening to them and then go, still go back and watch it. It wouldn't be no problem. But I just want to, because I've been wanting to start a podcast. I definitely want, like, oh yeah, they said this and that, or maybe I could say, hey, he said this, and I agree with this, or I, whatever. I just don't want other people's ideas to keep bringing back, because that, that happens. That's human nature. I still haven't answered the question. Coach Mazzulla, do I want him back? Who's out there? Before he got hired, we still had Damian Stoudemire. That's who I really wanted to be hired. That's why I was disappointed because I didn't know nothing about Coach Missoula until like afterwards. They basically how I got it. He was on the staff, but like when Coach basically they'll whatever frustration they had with Coach Ime, that's who they said they'll go talk to the player. A lot of the players go talk to. So they do have a relationship with Coach Missoula. They rock with him. But that's the thing. Is it too much? Oh, I rock with you. So maybe they're not listening because like, oh, he cool, and we know what I mean. Because who knows what he like. What was his response after they came to him? Was he like, hey, coach is right, or did he choose more sides with the player? Was he honest with them, or was it more just like, all right, coach, even was like, these guys gonna come to you, so do this, or was it his real opinion? But they said they got along. They they didn't mind the hire, but I personally wanted Stoudemire to get the job. I'm like, man, I feel better. That's why it's kind of hard to answer the questions because I'm more like a player that been in the league to coach, and there's a lot of gentlemen out there like young, guys that's playing. One Penny Hardaway. He's playing. He's a coach somewhere in college. And then, if Joe doesn't come back, and do we want? If Joe Mazzulla, if they replace him, I'll say give Stoudemire said he wants to, and that's the thing. That's another thing why I don't want to put too much pressure on Coach Mazzulla because he didn't have his own staff. He didn't get a chance because all this happened at the beginning of the season, so it's not like they had a training camp, or if he had his own, well, I'm sure he didn't have his own philosophy at the beginning to say, okay, I want to do it like this, because no one knew until it happened. So it's like, okay, now you're assistant coach until February or whatever. They took out the intern coach thing off, internship off of him. They made him the coach. And funny thing is, like, we was performing better when he had the interns. Like, we performed better knowing maybe we didn't want him to get fired because, but once he got the head coaching, everything turned around the same time. And could have been when Marcus Smart missed like I think 10 games, but he missed like a month. That's when we first got her into a little funk, I think, and I could be wrong. I think that's when we lost the back-to-back to Orlando. We had like a funky month. And that's when Marcus Smart was out. I'm looking at it like, was it before the All-Star? After the All-Star? I think, because I really can't remember. I know it was, so Coach Mazzulla, he coached the East. So he had the intern. So basically, up to the All-Star was playing good. So Marcus Smart either got hurt a little for that, but he was out a month. But from from Coach got the headmanship, whatever, and the players, like, we just played different. That hunger was gone. And to confirm this, which was weird for Jalen to say it in one interview, I can't remember, like when the Bucks passed them, he said he was like super surprised because they relaxed because they had such a cushion company, such a large lead, because we did at one time until I think the Bucks won like 11, 12, maybe 13 in a row. But I know they won over 10 until maybe it was Orlando who beat them. It was or Houston. And then I think we lost to Houston back to back also. But we haven't played up to par. That's why I was being a disillusional fan. I was thinking to myself, not the time being disillusioned, but just saying, they just bored, They just want to get to a playoff, so get down, show what they can. But from the playoffs started, we didn't. We showed up for some games, but the way how we was talking, like the interviews, like they had me hyped up, like yo, they hungry, cause all that bit. That's all it seems like that was on their mind. Like damn, not saying they were saying, oh, we let down the city, but it was like he was right there. Tatum, I knew before they even came out with it, I knew something was wrong with Tatum, cause just the way Tatum shoots, like his shots, sometimes he leaves it up, but a lot of time his shots he flicks his wrist. So we're like after he boom. So like okay, even when he misses it, it's still like a flick. So it's like and then after that, he was kind of like guiding it to throw it in. So like, and the way he was handling the ball, because Tatum is not like, although they was having like a lot of turnovers. That's what one of our big issues in the finals was turnovers, and he kept doing the same thing. Like, say he was in the right corner, and they'll give him the ball. Say from whatever angle, he'll dribble a little, then turn around. Then Draymond did this at least 3 times. As soon as he turned around, I don't know if he hit his I seen it. He fouled it one time. I'm like, ref, call that. Hit his arm, and then got the ball. And Tatum, like I said before, he was like doing that with his wrist. I'm like, my man hurt. That's not an excuse. And he's, I was like, well, I did make an excuse. This is the first time it's Golden State, and they held it down. But to get back to to get back to the playoffs and say you're hungry and to perform so and I'm not taking nothing from these other teams that we played, but we just played like we didn't play like we wanted it, and we didn't play with purpose. Cause a couple games, we didn't defend the 3, the ball will come off. Maybe we'll play good D for the whole. Almost 24 seconds, they'll get down to the third. How the good teams or whatever team likes to swing it, and then it's a lot of teams just get tired of them running because they done run 3-4 times. They keep swinging, and that's the best thing. Swing it, bang in the corner or whatever. Usually it'll be a corner. That's why I'm like, well, these guys just stay in the corner. They just pretend like coming out, but it's gonna most likely be a corner shot when they start but you never know. Because it's just reaction. When you see the ball, now you shifting here, then, but, they say the ball move faster than your feet. Or whatever the saying goes. You can pass the ball faster than, you can dribble the ball. I think that's what they say. And if, zip, 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 a lot of times you was just super lazy on, getting out to a 3. And I seen it, I'm like, really don't want to win this game, because if we playing like this, lackadaisical, regardless if they make it or not, these were the playoffs. So you gotta at least try to test it. And then if Joe Mazzulla, he was in a bad spot, what are you gonna do? Sit them down? Because my ignorant self was like, man, if I was a coach, and I'm not gonna sit down for the whole half or whatever, but